Welcome in to the North Pole, also known as Nashville, Tennessee right now. And I don't care where you guys live, it is cold. It is freezing here. It's like 32 degrees, and it may be colder where you are. And I used to live up north in upstate New York, so I know cold, but I am freezing in Nashville right now. But I'm so glad you made it into this live. Glad you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope this is a improvement to your day. And we're going to be talking your fantasy football starts and sits to get you ready to win a championship, get into playoffs. That's the first step, and then any moves you need to win a championship. So today, we're going to be answering your questions. We have got the comment bar open, ready to go for you guys. I've also got the Walter Picks app here, ready to help me answer any of your questions. And I want to start with something here. We got a question here. I'm going to get to your question here in a second, Steven. Thank you so much for showing up early, showing up at the start of live. We are going to start with your question from the comments. But I do want to start with one quick thing for Lamar Jackson. That is probably the most common question I've gotten this week. I may need to make a full video about it, but I do think that Lamar Jackson could be a good start against the Steelers. I'm going to go to the matchup tab here. I'm going to show you guys. This is powerful in the Walter Picks app. You know, honestly, the Steelers have been doing a pretty good job. They did a good job against Herbert, against Flacco. But against a lot of quarterbacks, they've struggled. Fields, they struggled. Drake May, they struggled. Let's see, did they face any other rushing quarterbacks? Daniel Jones got 17. Josh Allen, they held to 17 points, but that had a lot to do with the run game. I think Lamar Jackson can get you at least enough points to be startable. But let's jump into some of the questions from you guys here. Again, Steven, we're going to start with your question. Brissett, Mariota, or Love? I will mention that Jacoby Brissett has been a top 12 quarterback every single week he started. I was watching the fantasy footballers, and they said that he has the second most fantasy points since he started, only second to not Brock Bowers, to Josh Allen. So pretty impressive from Brissett. I like Mariota this week as well. I don't like Love as much. So I would go Mariota or Brissett. And thinking between that, I will note here, and if you guys follow my page on NOBS Fantasy, I cover the hardest and easiest wide receiver matchups. Debo has the second easiest matchup, and Terry McLaurin has number 8. So I think Mariota is a great start. So between the three here, Brissett, Mariota, I think I'd go Mariota. Honestly, I like both of them this week. I think they're both good starts. Any DFS stacks you like? Casey, I will mention I do like the Commanders. They're probably going to be decently cheap. Like I said, Debo has the second easiest matchup, and Terry McLaurin. Those guys will be cheap. I will also mention, let's see here. I mean, Jameson Williams, guys, is kind of the must-play of Thursday Night Football. So those are kind of two that I like this week. Do I sit Barkley this week? Let's see here. Barkley, I've got him in one league. I'm in playoffs somehow, some way. The rest of my team is good. I think that if you have other good options, you can sit Barkley. But I do like his matchup. Let me just check here. He's playing against the Chargers. They have a pretty good defense, but I still think that he's a good play this week. But if you have other good options, if you got people on your bench, be like, man, I've sat this guy 3 weeks in a row to play Saquon freaking Barkley, who's not getting me fantasy points. He had 8 catches. Let me show you this, guys. This was mind-blowing. I was looking up. I almost put him in my running back sits for the week. I did not, but check this out. I'm in the Walter Picks app. 7 receptions for 52 yards against the Cowboys, 12.4 fantasy points. That was all that. Let me double check here and let me make sure we're adding up here. Rush attempts, rush share, targets. Let me check his total yards. Maybe that was his total yardage. Receiving yards. He just didn't do it. He had 22 rush yards. Yeah, he had 12 points from 7 receptions for 52 yards. He must have had a fumble in that game. Absolutely awful Saquon Barkley has been lately. Do I set any of my Eagles players? I don't think so. I think I like their matchup against the Chargers, and Justin Herbert is questionable. That would be huge for Eagles players if he misses the game. That'll give their offense a lot more opportunities. Start Strange or Gadsden. Let's check that one out from Joel. Joel, thanks for joining in. Strange or Gadsden? I would definitely go Strange. I'll show you guys again. You guys want to have this Walter Picks app. This is the free version I'm showing you guys right now that I'm doing this research in. But there is a paid version with a prop evaluator as well. You can get a free trial with code NOBS. 14 days in the description. Get you right into the playoffs and help you out with your DFS plays. Anything you're looking for. Give you the best lines out there. Let me show you what Brenton Strange has been doing. He's been hurt, but every week he's played a full game. Pretty much he's been a great starter. So I'm rocking with Brenton Strange for the rest of the season. Start 2, T. Higgins, Nico, Terry, Rome. I like Nico for sure. That's a for sure for me, Steven. And then T versus Terry versus Rome. Rome, if you guys don't follow me, you want to check out my page. He's facing Kyshawn Nixon of the Packers, the 4th hardest matchup of the week. He probably will get covered some by Javon Bullard, 3rd hardest matchup of the week. That's Luther Burden's main matchup. I'm probably going to sit Rome because of that difficult matchup. He may not play, actually. The concussion is pretty bad. So we'll have to see if T. Higgins plays or not. For that reason, I'm going to tell you Terry McLaurin. If T. Higgins is a full go, though, I would go Nico, and I would go Higgins. Alec, I think Tyler Warren is a must play. He's been really solid. Let's just bring him up here. I know that I think he was dealing with an illness. If I remember correctly, we will scroll down here. Yeah, he played through an illness last week. So if you're like, man, he's looking a little bit slow, I don't know about you guys, but if I've got a stomach bug, the last thing that I need is being tackled by NFL players. I'll tell you that. So pretty awesome that he played through. He scored us the touchdown. So if you've been a little bit worried about him, I mean, look at his receptions. Some of the best in the league. His receiving yards, some of the best in the league. And in Week 13, against some really difficult matchups, I will add. I mean, Houston, number 5 in the league, still was able to get us that touchdown. And look at the rest of the season here for Tyler Warren. Again, this is why you want the Walter Picks app. This is going to give you the confidence you need to lock him in rest of way, set it, and forget it. Jacksonville, 31st in the league. I've got him as a must start. Seattle, 28th. Those wide receivers, Reek Woolen, Josh Jobe, Devin Witherspoon, covering up those wide receivers. You have to go to the tight end against Seattle. San Francisco has been struggling against the tight end, and then he gets Jacksonville again. Very, very favorable matchup for Tyler Warren. Guys, and that's one of the reasons you want to hit the subscribe, because in draft season, I told you not to draft Sam Laporta. He was better than I expected, but Tyler Warren's been better. I told you not to draft Brock Bowers. He's been good as well. I told you to draft Tyler Warren instead, and he's been one of the best draft values of the entire draft, because when you didn't take Brock Bowers, you got somebody much more valuable in that second round. When you didn't take Sam Laporta, when you didn't take TJ Hawkinson, and you got Tyler Warren much later on, that set you up to make playoffs, and that's going to set us up to win championships. Tyler Warren absolutely going to be a league winner this year with this easy matchup. Adonai Mitchell or Rome Odunze? Tough question here, because I will mention that Adonai Mitchell last week, he did have the very slightly easier matchup compared to John Mechie, but he had 12 targets, 8 receptions. He's looking good in this offense. Remember, he's joining in a new offense. That's pretty difficult as a young player. So I think I'm going to go Mitchell this week. Rome, guys, let me switch over to Rome. He hasn't been good. I looked him up earlier today because I was like, do I recommend even to start him? He's dealing with a little bit of an injury. He did not practice today. That's number one. That's the first thing to watch out for. And the last couple weeks, he just hasn't been good. And I will also note, let me show you this as well. Guys, this is the research that I'm doing every day. So again, make sure you're subscribed. You can subscribe here on the YouTube for these Wednesday night lives. You can subscribe to the Walter Picks TikTok. You can subscribe to NOBS Fantasy on YouTube and TikTok as well. And let me show you Caleb Williams. There is something interesting you have to check out here on Caleb Williams, because this affects his wide receivers. Look at these matchups. I want you to notice how he does against tough matchups versus easy matchups. Week 1, he did well against Minnesota. I'll give him credit for that. But against Las Vegas, 18. Against New Orleans, 11. Against Baltimore, 20th. Against Minnesota, 6th. And against Philadelphia, 16th. He's been pretty awful. He's been great against the green. They have to be green for him to be good. Even the yellow matchups, 20th, he has not been good. So for me, I think the Bears, I think they're a little bit frauds, in my opinion. They've been beating some easy teams. They've been winning against some teams that are injured. They've been winning against some teams that are not full strength. Even the Steelers, they rolled out Mason Rudolph and barely lost that game. And the Steelers guys are not good. I'm going to be the first to hand up and say that. So I think the Bears, impressive win against the Eagles. I will give them that. But we're going to see what they're made of in the rest of the season. I think they'll be a little bit exposed here, but we will see. But Caleb Williams, he's not been good against good defenses, and for that reason, I'm sitting his wide receiver. So a little bit more detailed response. I know not everybody in live maybe needs that, but that's the kind of detail that I'm bringing to every single answer we have in this live here. We have a super chat from Grayson. Thank you, Grayson. I appreciate that, man. You think Scary Terry over BTJ? Keep in mind, I literally lived through that Darnold JSN gut shot last week. Doesn't feel great to do it again. I do think Scary Terry over BTJ. BTJ, Parker Washington could miss, but let's check out Brian Thomas Jr. Again, super chat. Let's take a second to check it out here. I mean, 4.8 points in an easy matchup, 2 catches. How many targets? Is that 3 targets? Awful. 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 I mean, come on. Scary Terry. Let's go to Terry, who does have a great matchup this week, by the way. Terry McLaurin, he's got a great matchup this week. And, I mean, 22 points, 7 catches, a touchdown. Let's check this out here. 14 targets. We got to play Scary Terry this week. I know he does, and he's got an easy matchup. Let me go to the matchup tab real quick, guys. Let me go to the matchup tab real quick. This looks like a hard matchup, but that's because you're not using the matchup tab in the Walter Picks app. Look at what they've been allowing a little bit lately. Wow, they did crush JSN, so I'll give you that. The Packers don't have the strongest receivers. The Bears have been struggling against good defenses. Zay Flowers did okay. A.J. Brown, Jameson Williams did well. The good pass offenses have done pretty good. They have not faced many. That's what I want to point out here. They have not faced many good pass offenses. The Packers, not that great. They faced the Seahawks. That was impressive, but they got they got run over in that game. So I think I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin still. I agree with you, but BTJ, even worse. So appreciate the super chat, and I would go Terry McLaurin if it were my team. And if I had to win to get in, I would go Terry McLaurin. Start Fannin, Warren, or Pittman. 5 reception for the tight end. I would probably go with Warren in that scenario. Again, last week he played through an illness. He's had good receptions each week, and you get that bonus where if he's up against Pittman, you probably need a touchdown for Pittman to be just as good as Warren, and then Warren also could score you a touchdown. By the way, guys, if you guys have not hit that like button, I know there's 26 of you here. I'm going to try to answer as many questions as possible over the next 50 minutes. We got a while here, but if you are new here, hit that like and that subscribe. We are going into detail on these answers to help you make an informed decision backed by data, backed by analytics, not just opinions here. So appreciate you guys hanging out here. Let's do this one. Is it crazy to start Travis, Etienne, Jacoby Myers, and Strange? I've got Pierce, BTJ, Mitchell, Moore on the bench. I do like Pierce. Pierce has been really good. He actually has the 10th easiest matchup this week against Greg Newsome as well. So I don't know if I would go with all 3. I mean, Strange is going in the starting lineup. I would not play Gadsden over him. Strange has been great. Travis Etienne has been great. So I think we're set there. Now it's between Jacoby Myers and Pierce. If you want the most safety, go Myers because you're really locking down that whole Jaguars offense. But let's say the Jaguars have a tough day. You're kind of screwed. So I might go with Pierce and make sure. The awesome thing about going with Pierce, your team will always have the ball. If Pierce, he's facing the Jaguars, right? So he's got the ball when the Colts have the ball, and then you've got the ball when the Jaguars have the ball. So I would go with Travis Etienne, Pierce, and Strange to make sure you always have the ball in that game. I need 2, Rodriguez, Aaron Jones, or Franklin. Jones may not play. That's why a lot of people have been talking Jordan Mason as a potential start. So most likely you're going to be going Franklin and Rodriguez. If Aaron Jones plays, I probably will sit him as well just because of the risk there. Let's see here. Waller, Otten, or Mason Taylor. I'd go Waller. He was coming back in this game and still had some decent target share as he's ramping back up. Standard, flex, Charbonnet, Tootin, Adnai, Neal, or Corum. I think Charbonnet is your guy in standard. He's the touchdown scoring, the goal line back for the Seahawks. In most leagues, I'm saying he's a sit. I actually said he's a sit earlier today, but comparing the rest of the guys you got on this roster, I'm going to go with Charbonnet in standard. Let's see here. Go with Caleb or Lawrence. Guys, I don't think you can play Caleb. We looked at him a little bit earlier, and guys, we pointed this out, and you don't see this on every page, is the detail of the matchup. When he faces anybody in the top 20, he has been awful. I mean, Minnesota, he was good week 1, but then the Raiders, then the Saints, then Baltimore, then Minnesota, then Philadelphia. Anyone in the top 20, not even top 16, not even top 10, top 20, 2/3 of the league, he has been awful for fantasy football. So I'm going to go with Lawrence this week. I like that Myers is in the offense, stepping it up, and I like that offense a little bit better. Let's see here. DK or Adonai Mitchell. I'd go DK against the Ravens. Ravens defense has been pretty poor. Pretty poor, unfortunately. Joe Burrow or Jared Goff. Logan, I think you got to go Goff here. Let me just bring up, I know Burrow, but let me talk about Goff here. He's got the matchup with the Cowboys. That's what we love to see. Cowboys, I think, are they 32nd in the league? Yes, they're 32nd in the league allowing points to quarterbacks. He's coming off a really nice game against Green Bay, even without Amon-Ra St. Brown. So I will go with Jared Goff this week against the Dallas Cowboys. Super safe, plenty of upside. So that's why Jared Goff's your guy. Genty or Jordan Mason? I'm definitely going Genty, especially if you, well, any kind of league, I'm going with Genty. Should I start Daniel Jones or Tyrod Taylor or Mariota? I like all three. So honestly, I don't think you can really go wrong with any of these in particular. But I really like Mariota a lot just because he's got a great matchup against Minnesota. They're going to have so much time with the ball. J.J. McCarthy has struggled with interceptions. That gives great field position. I love that. So I like Mariota. I like Daniel Jones as well. I think the safer play is Daniel Jones. If you're like, hey, 17, pack it up, let's head to playoffs. Daniel Jones. I don't think Daniel Jones has as much upside. So I would go Mariota if you're chasing upside. Half PPR does not matter for the quarterback, assuming they're not going to be catching any passes. But Joe Burrow or Bo Nix, I would definitely go with Joe Burrow because Bo Nix really just hasn't been that great lately. Mechie or Mitchell, who is wide receiver 1? Oh, wow. Great question here. Mechie last week, if you did not know, faced A.J. Terrell of the Falcons. He is the number 1 corner of the Falcons, and that gave Adonai Mitchell some extra targets. So I still think Mechie is the wide receiver 1. He still had 8 targets with the more difficult matchup. They were pretty close, to be fair, but I think that Mechie is the wide receiver 1. I think Mitchell took advantage of a little bit easier matchup in week 13. Tesla, worth a look this week. My wide receivers are Flowers, Pittman, Addison, and Wilson. Wilson, guys, if somebody dropped him in your league, must add, must play. Because most apps are not Walter picks. They do not have people actively checking the news and trying to predict if someone's going to miss. Sleeper, ESPN, most of those apps have someone projected in till they are officially out. On Walter picks, we do not do that. Let's actually check. I could be wrong. I could not be up to date on the news. So let's check what we got from Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going to test myself live here, and we're going to check it out with you guys here. So we got him projected 4-0. Exactly like I said. At Walter Picks, we actually look at the news and we make adjustments. Wilson is therefore projected very highly. That's what I want to call out here. So we don't want to make that mistake. He's projected 15.3. Then it goes back to 6.8. We do that in the Walter Picks app. We make sure we have it week to week. And Marvin Harrison Jr. most likely to miss. Look at what he did. He was wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 9 when Marvin Harrison Jr. was out. We have to start Wilson. And then I do think starting Flowers is good this week. I'm a Steelers fan. You see my terrible towel, my TJ Watt, Funko Pop, my Steelers jersey. This team is rough. Plus, Zay Flowers actually has the easiest matchup of the week in terms of fantasy points per route run. So that's one of the reasons I like Flowers. So I would say for your team, Tesla is not worth a look. I do like him. I think he's a high upside play in a deeper league. But for now, not a play. Chat, if Mike Evans starts, should I start him over Waddle? I wouldn't. Waddle's been pretty good. Let's just double check on where Waddle's been. And he's going to be coming back. And, maybe Baker just hyper targets him, tries to get him to that 1,000 yards. If you guys did not know, Mike Evans tied Jerry Rice with the most 1,000-yard seasons in a row. Probably not going to happen this year because he's missed so much time. Waddle really hasn't been good the last couple of weeks, that to be fair. But I don't think I would start Evans over him in his first game back. That's just me. I will also note that the Jets, they do not have Sauce Gardner anymore. Malik Washington has a great matchup against Malachi Moore of the Jets. So that is an interesting factor, but I would not start Mike Evans over Waddle in his first game back. Which was wide receiver, Commanders wide receiver, is the best option? I've got Samuel and Terry on the wire. I would go with Debo. He's facing Josh Metellus. If you guys... let me just show you real quick. We can do that in the Walter Picks app really easily. That's the advantage of the Walter Picks app. That's why, guys, I do a lot of research for fantasy football, and this is definitely one of my favorite top tier tools. Now I work for Walter Picks. I've got some influence on the app, but guys, this is one thing I would not change. And check out what's been allowed here. DK Metcalf. We saw Devonta Smith face Josh Metellus. Ladd McConkey face Josh Metellus. Amon-Ra St. Brown face Josh Metellus. We've seen wide receivers match up against Josh Metellus week after week after week and perform extremely well. That's Deebo Samuel's matchup this week, so I would go with Deebo Samuel. We did this one, Rodriguez or Franklin. I probably would go with Rodriguez, I think. Very safe. Franklin, if you need upside. If you're facing the juggernaut in your lead, you got to go Franklin and chase that upside. With Aaron Jones hurt, I've got Franklin and Vele, or pick up Wicks, Tesla. I think I'd go with Franklin and Vele. I actually picked up Vele in a league I have to win. We have a punishment in this league where you have to wear an inflatable costume and run around a big park. Thankfully, it's not too inappropriate. It's not something I'm not willing to do, but it would be embarrassing to get last place in the league. And I'll tell you right now, I have scored the fifth most points in the league. It's a 14-man league, and somehow I'm near the bottom of the league, even scoring the fifth most points. So I've had some bad luck. I should be a playoff team. I'll just throw it out there. I think I should be a playoff team. I've scored so many points, but I've had some bad luck, and I need to win this week to avoid that last place playoff, and I'm going with Vele this week as well. Let's see here. Let's go to the bottom here. Reed, wide receiver 1 when he comes back for GB. Daniel, I don't know if there is a wide receiver 1 for GB, unfortunately. Christian Watson has actually looked pretty good. But everybody's been hurt. I don't think so. I don't think anybody's a wide receiver 1 for GB. So don't let him be on the waiver wire. You never know. I don't want someone to plug him into my lineup because they had an injury and him go off for 26 points in the championship. I don't want that to happen. So I may add him because he does have some good upside. I'm with you there, but he's not someone that I personally would want to plug into my lineup unless I've got players injured. Now I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. Whew, this is the first time I've been warm all day. It is freezing in Nashville, guys. I don't know where you guys are from. If it is cold where you are, I am sorry, because I used to live in upstate New York, and man, I know what cold is. I know what cold is. But man, it is tough going from like 65, 7 degrees right to 32 degrees. It is freezing here. Should you bench Patrick for Love or Mariota or CJ need to win quarterfinals? Wow, that is a tough question. So I got to start with, that's a lot of responsibility. Let me go to Mahomes here. Now, here's a guy. I can't do the Chris Collinsworth. I don't think everybody does it great, but I definitely can't. Houston, number 1 against quarterbacks. Let's look at what they've allowed this season. And this is, I assume this is where your question is coming from. 0 facing Stafford, Baker, Mac Jones, Bo Nix, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones. They've faced the best quarterbacks out there for fantasy football. Nobody has scored over 20 points against them. Maybe that starts this week. I think it's even harder than it was at the beginning of the season. So I think that I am worried about Mahomes, but I think he can get you in the 16 range, 19 range. I think he's not awful. I like Mariota. I don't like CJ. So I'd go with Mariota or I would go with Patrick. I think I'd probably play Mahomes if it were my team. With playoffs on the line, you got to go with Patrick Mahomes. But if you're feeling like a little bit worried about it and you're like, well, if I get a 10, if I get a 13, I'm going to lose my week. I think Mariota may be a little safer. Let's check Mariota. Double check him because he's got a pretty, I think it's a pretty good opportunity against the Vikings. Let's see what he's been doing. He's been around 18, 16, 24 against Minnesota, 2 touchdowns, 300 yards against Denver. I think he can do that again. So I would say you're about equal with Mahomes and Mariota. And if you don't want to face the toughest defense in the league, go with Mariota. Or if you want to go with Patrick Mahomes, you drafted to be your guy. That's probably what I would do. I'd probably go with Mahomes, but it's either him or Mariota based on what you're looking for. I don't think I'd go Love. I would definitely go between those two. KC isn't great versus tight ends. I don't know what we're talking about here, but I think you're right. Who are they playing? They're playing... No, they are good. They are good. I looked it up. Well, I looked it up. So I know what you're talking about. I talked about Dalton Schultz as a sit earlier today, and you can see KC, number 7 in the league against tight ends. So if you guys were not sure, Walter Picksap has you covered. Now let's double check here because it's not weighted and see, have they faced a bunch of easy tight ends? Week 1, yes. Week 2, yes. Week 3, yes. Week 4, okay. Brenton Strange has been good. Brenton Strange has been good every week except when he faced the Chiefs. Laporta, he was pretty good against them. They did great against Ertz. They did good against Engram. They did good against Tyler Warren. They did good against Jake Ferguson. So they have actually played some of the best tight ends in the league. Ertz, Kincaid, Warren, Ferguson, at least for fantasy football purposes, and they have done pretty well. So I will stand by my previous take. I'm not interested in Schultz for this week. I did say I do like Schultz rest of the season, even though he does have a couple hard matchups here. I still think he can be good, but I don't like him this week against the Chiefs. So I appreciate that call out. But that's what I wanted to call out there. I still think he's a good pickup. If he's on waivers, great pickup for sure. For sure. I used my claim on Mike Evans or AD Mitchell this week. I would definitely use the claim on Mike Evans. The chances that Mike Evans is trustworthy for your fantasy football championship is higher. Plus, I think more people will be going for Mike Evans. So there's a chance you could add both if you have droppable players on your league. I do want to jump really quick to some playoff strategy. In one of my leagues, I am secured in playoffs. In that league, I've got the Browns defense. They play Tennessee this week. Best possible matchup. I am locked in at second place heading into playoffs. I cannot get the first seed, but I also cannot drop to the third seed, and only 3 people make playoffs. So it's paramount that I stay in second place so I don't have to play the first seed in the first round. So one of the things you want to do there is I'm probably going to end up dropping the Browns defense and picking up Houston, who's actually available in my league, and picking up somebody for week 15 and week 16. My league ends in week 16 because it's a 4-man playoff, 1-week playoff per week. So I am picking up week 15 and 16 players. I will be dropping the Browns. That's just a playoff strategy piece because I don't want to drop anybody else quite yet, that you want to start getting ready for those playoff weeks 100%. Now, the bench in my league is small, so that is why I don't want to drop anybody else, but I'll probably will drop the Browns last minute in order to add one of those defenses for the playoffs. Let's see here. A little defense, Colts or Houston. I've got Lawrence starting versus the Colts. I think Houston's the play. Main reason being Jaguars have been pretty good, but Houston's been amazing, and they've got the great playoff schedule. That's why I am looking to add Houston. Let me just type them in real quick. And if you guys just joined in, we don't have a ton of people here. That's okay. I'm glad you're here. Make sure you hit that like and that subscribe. This is the type of detail that you don't get on every page, and that's what we do here at Walter Picks. Houston, I do like them. They play Arizona. I like that for week 15. I don't love it, but I do like it. But I absolutely love their week 16 matchup against the Raiders. They are going to feast in that game against Geno Smith. You know they're already having nightmares about that game. So I do really like Houston. If you can ride with them for the next couple weeks, they've got great matchup week 15. And then like the best, pretty much best matchup, arguably in the league for week 16. So I'd go with Houston. Should I pick up Monangai or Mason? I would pick up Monangai. He's been pretty great in terms of the rush share. Mason is really a 1-week play. Monangai is a rest of season play. The schedule is difficult for Monangai. If you're trying to work into playoffs, probably Mason is your guy for just this week. But if you want somebody that you may be able to start rest of season, that would be a Monangai play. Ooh. Let's see here. Are we starting Hampton? Andrew, if he plays, I'm going to play him. That's kind of how I'd go with the Chargers. They sat him last week. He could have returned last week, and they didn't play him. So to me, that says they're waiting till he's ready. They're waiting till he's ready to go. So I would play him if he plays. Let's see here. AD Mitchell, Bam Knight, or Devin Neal for my flex. And I will mention, guys, Bam Knight, if Trey Benson does not return this week, he cannot come back. So if Bam Knight is on the waivers, he is a must add. I think for your flex, if Trey Benson does not play, Bam Knight stands out to me as the play. I'm going to stick with that. Waller or Loveland? Man, I'm not loving the Bears this week, but Loveland could be good. Let me double check. Green Bay is so good against wide receivers. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not good against tight ends, because obviously if a tight end doesn't take much to be good, and if you can't hit the wide receivers, well, you're going to go for this guy. Yeah, Green Bay is just good against everybody. Waller, though, he's working up the snaps. That's kind of the problem there, is like he's just not out there. Let's double check that, though. Let's make sure I'm not talking crazy here. Let's check his snaps, and this is in the Walter Picks app. 28 snaps, 46%. He only had 3 targets. I probably would roll with Loveland. I think he's just going to be out there a little bit more. But if you're looking for like, whoa, someone that can score me 17 points, 18 points, that would be Waller. So if you're going for upside, go for Waller. If you're going for consistency, that is a Loveland play. DK or AD Mitchell? That is offensive, Tom. As a Steelers fan, I'm offended that you would even ask that question. Oh, but it is the Christmas season. I will put on my North Pole hat. I'm in the spirit, so I will answer this question. And honestly, AD Mitchell is going to get more targets. Probably. AD Mitchell will probably have more receptions. AD Mitchell could score a touchdown. So I think I'd go AD Mitchell. I mean, if DK does not score, AD Mitchell almost certainly will be the better play. So I like AD Mitchell. It's not that I don't like DK this week. The Ravens haven't been that good. but neither is DK. So I would go with AD Mitchell. That sucks. That sucks, Tom. Unfortunate, but we put on the Christmas hat to answer your question with the spirit of giving, because man, that's it's so bad. The Steelers are in rough shape, man. Gadsden, Parkinson, or Schultz. I don't love Schultz, but I do like him better than Gadsden and Parkinson. So I appreciate that question. Just because I say somebody's a sit doesn't mean they're a sit for your team or in every league. If you are really stuck at tight end, I assume you've had some injuries to some of your tight ends, and that's why you're stuck with kind of waiver wire guys. I totally get that. I would go with Schultz, and I think he's the better play rest of the season as well. Any tight end recommendations? I do have Ferg and Pitts. I think you're good. It's just with the Dallas Cowboys, they have a lot of options there. So I think that Ferguson, fine play. Pitts is looking really good with Kirk Cousins, so I'd probably play Pitts. I think he's a great play. One other strategy piece that I do want to call out for you guys. This is the time of year where you need to look at your opponents and everybody else in your league you're competing against. For example, if you're in a league and someone in your league needs to win this week and their quarterback, like let's say Justin Herbert, gets ruled out, do not let the backup for the Chargers be on the waiver wire. Make sure they don't get to play anybody so they lose their week. If you need somebody to lose, scheme against them on the waiver wire. You need to block them as well. And some people are like, well, that's scammy. That's kind of cheating. It's not cheating if you hold them for the week. It is cheating 100% if you add somebody and then just add all the defenses and drop them all so no one can add them. That's cheating. That's poor sportsmanship. But if you don't want someone else in your league to have somebody, you can definitely add them for the week. You got to drop somebody, but you can definitely add and hold them for the week. So if you have somebody like a Chargers player that you add kind of in secret and you hold them, you can add the Chargers backup on Monday. You can drop that Chargers player, add that backup QB, and block them from a starting quarterback. So that's a little bit of strategy we should be using in the playoffs. Don't let your league mates have free reign over the waiver wire when you can do something about it. So that's a little bit of strategy. Again, if you're like, I don't like that, you don't have to do it, but I do think that there's nothing wrong with stopping your opponents from using the waiver wire however they like, as long as you hold the players throughout the week and you're not just adding and dropping them to spam them so that they can't use them. So that I just want to call that out. Michael Wilson or Waddle. I mean, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is out, you have to go Michael Wilson. You have to. As a fellow Steelers fan, IDK what people expected to change with getting rid of Canada than hiring Smith. He's just as bad, if not worse. Ryan, that is correct. It is bad. I wanted them to play Will Howard this year, honestly. I would rather see what Will Howard had to bring to the table than see Aaron Rodgers struggle, to see Mason Rudolph struggle. I'd much rather see Will Howard give the rookie a chance. Can we lose some games so we can get a good draft pick? Winning 6 games, I honestly, we should lose the rest. We just are not a playoff team. The Steelers are not a playoff team. They need to reset. I know the defense is older. They want to win now, but honestly, the defense hasn't been that great either. The Bills, somebody was saying they ran the same play 29 times. I didn't verify that, didn't watch the whole video because I just couldn't bear it. But I do believe them. They just can't stop, they can't stop a runny nose. So I'd like to see them give Will Howard a shot, honestly, and just see what he's got. Is Chris Rodriguez Jr. a good pickup? Yeah, Chris Rodriguez Jr. is a good pickup, Zach. And I wonder if you have a nice YouTube channel, because I love your profile picture there. That's very, very nice. Pick up JJ McCarthy over Tyrod Taylor. No. I would not do that. Tyrod has been pretty good. He's been pretty good, and he's got some rushing upside. He's got his wide receivers that are learning the playbook. A.D. Mitchell, for example. John Mechie. Is he new to the Jets recently? I mean, I know he started with Houston. What a great story for him, by the way. He had cancer. He had leukemia, I believe. I'm pretty dang sure. And now he's on the Jets. So awesome to see him coming back and getting some run, recovering from his illness. So excited for the Jets, and I would definitely go to Rod Taylor. Pick 3, Devonta Adams. He's got a tough matchup. Nico, Sutton, or J-Mo. J-Mo, guys, is must-start territory. If Amon-Ra misses this game, J-Mo's like wide receiver top 5 of the week. He's a start in any size league. If you're in a 2-man league, he's at least a flex. I think Adams is a great start, and I think Nico is a start. So I would definitely sit Sutton of the group. He just hasn't been performing up to the level. Let's see here. I've been here since there was 5 people. He's skipping my question. I'm sorry, I have not seen your question. but we did get to it. So I apologize for missing your question. I appreciate you being here as well. Was not skipping your question on purpose because I definitely want to talk to Devonta Adams because I've got his cornerback matchup here. We've got Will Johnson. He's facing Will Johnson of the Cardinals, I believe. And great, tough matchup, actually, in terms of fantasy points per route run. But, man, what a touchdown monster. Let's do this one. Sutton, Pickens, Pittman, Terry, Godwin, Mitchell. Let's rank them quickly. I think on top has to be, Pickens and, yes, it's Pickens number 1 for sure. I think I would go with Pittman number 2, Mitchell Terry number 3, Mitchell number 4, Sutton number 5, Godwin number 6. I do like all of them, though. Let's see here. If you guys have a question, feel free to drop it down below. We also got some time to just talk some NFL. And guys, let me know what you think of the Bears. I just do not believe. I don't believe. Let me know what you think of the Patriots as well. I also don't believe as much for the Patriots. Now, the Steelers did beat the Patriots. That alone should be enough to be like, whoa, is this team as good as they say they are? But I am worried about the Bears. I think they benefit from an easy schedule. I would say the same about the Patriots. They definitely can win some games. I could see the Patriots winning the Super Bowl, honestly. But I don't know if when they get to playoffs, and they got to play 3 good teams in a row, they've barely played any playoff teams this year. Let me just jump to the Patriots real quick. I'll go to Drake May, who's been awesome. I mean, he's going to win MVP probably. But, man, what a soft schedule. I don't want to be such a hater. But look at this schedule. The Raiders, Miami, terrible. Pittsburgh, they lost that game, but Pittsburgh sucks. Carolina, not good. Buffalo, they won that game. That was huge. Kudos to them. Saints, not good. Tennessee, not good. Cleveland, not good. Atlanta, not good. I think they beat Tampa Bay, so that was a nice win if they did that. The Jets, horrible. The Bengals, not good. The Giants, horrible. And this was Joe Flacco in the Bengals as well. They really haven't beat anybody, so we're going to have to see what the Patriots are made of after this week when they play Buffalo again. Can they win that game? Can they beat Baltimore? But the schedule's been cake for the Patriots, so I'm interested to know what you guys think about them. Ladies and gentlemen, Schultz or Fannin? I think I would go with, I think I'd go Fannin. Herbert or Danny Dimes. I like Schultz as well. I like them. They're both really close. I just think if you're going for upside, Fannin's got better upside. Hurts or Danny Dimes, go Danny Dimes. Herbert may not play. Love or Goff, you got to go Goff. Odunze or A.D. Mitchell? I'd go A.D. Mitchell. Odunze has not been great. Guys, let me know what you think of the the Bears and the Patriots, man, because I'm worried about both those teams. If Marvin Harrison Jr. is playing, should I start him over Pittman? No, I wouldn't. I just play Pittman. We did Herbert or Danny Dimes. We said Danny Dimes. You got to play Danny Dimes. Can't wait for Herbert. He may miss the game. I think he has surgery on his hand this week. So obviously that's not ideal. So DFS, Stafford or Goff? I'm going Goff. I don't know what his price is, but he's definitely a good start this week. Definitely a good start. I don't know what the price is again. If the price is bad, then you got to go probably Stafford. But I don't think that Goff is. I think Goff could be number 1 this week. He really has that potential. Cowboys defense is getting better with Quinnen Williams, but it's not good. Plus their offense is awesome. So if the Cowboys are going to score a lot of points, that's going to force a lot of passing. So I think Goff's a great play. Bears are winning the Super Bowl. PC, let's check the Bears as well. This schedule, though, guys, has been cake. They beat the Bills. Well done. The Bills have also had some major issues this year. But the rest of the teams they beat, they suck. Like, honestly. And let's check the Bears. Let's just go to their defense. They have played Minnesota. They suck. Detroit, okay. Dallas, all right. The Raiders, terrible. Commanders, without no Jaden Daniels, I think, terrible. The Saints, not good. Baltimore, was that even Joe Flacco? Or was that even Lamar Jackson? I don't know, but not good. The Bengals with Joe Flacco, not good. The Giants, not good. The Minnesota Vikings, again, not good. The Steelers with Mason Rudolph, not good. Eagles, that was a quality win. I will give the Bears that 100%. But they have not beaten good teams. Now, we will find out week 14. If the Bears beat the Packers, I will eat my words. If the Bears beat the Packers, the Packers haven't looked amazing on offense, but if the Bears could put up some points against the Packers, I think they can win the Super Bowl. They have a shot, but we're going to find out real quick if the Bears are for real. I think they could lose 4 of these games, and they'll probably beat the Browns, who suck. They've had an easy schedule, but I think that this is going to be really and the Bears could prove me wrong here, but this is really when it's time to show what they've got as we close out the season. I think overall the schedule has been pretty favorable for them. Do I start Knicks or Brissett? I'd go Brissett. Same on Yahoo. I would definitely go Goff if they're the same. I would go Goff if they're the same. Dolphins, defense, or Detroit? Detroit's playing the Cowboys. You don't want that. Is that really your options? That's awful, man. That's awful. Is Miami playing the Jets, though? I think Miami's playing the Jets. I would definitely play Miami against the Jets. They've been actually pretty good lately, too. Wow. Yeah, I'd go Miami. Vele or Higgins? That's a great question. I think I would go with... Wow, Chiefs are going to be tough. I think you go Vele. He's been pretty good. I like the upside there. Let's see here. Man, the Steelers, I will talk about them a little bit as well. I go Vele over Franklin, too. I think he's looked pretty good. Let me check Vele real quick. Guys, if you don't know Vele, he plays for the Saints. I watched a lot of that Saints games, and he's been really, really good. Wow. 23 points, 93 yards, 8 catches, and a touchdown. I mean, this was a breakout game. Schultz or Burden, half PPR? Gotta go Schultz. Burden has the 3rd hardest matchup of the week facing Javon Bullard of the Packers, the corner. So I would go with Schultz. Yep. Shakir or Manungai? I would go with Manungai. Shakir has the 9th hardest matchup of the week facing Dexton Hill of the Bengals. The Bills. I mean, Josh Allen, he's been good, but it's been really like a lot of short yardage, I think. I mean, I could be wrong again. I hope not, but they really are trying to take care of the football, so there's no reason to really even pass that much, I think, against the Bengals. They're just going to run the clock. So I would go Manungai. Let's see here. Flowers, Higgins, Houston, or DJ Moore? Thank you for saying which Higgins. I would go Flowers. The Steelers they're just bad. They're just bad. And I think Flowers almost had a touchdown last week. Nobody would be talking bad about Flowers if he scored that touchdown last week. He caught it. It was a penalty. I think the penalty was kind of garbage as well. And if he scored the touchdown, nobody would be worried. 14-man league with no IR. Should I drop Benson and pick up A.D. Mitchell? Okay, let's talk some strategy here. I love this question. So the fact that waivers have already run tells me that most likely no one in your league is going to add A.D. Mitchell anytime soon. There's no reason for anyone to add A.D. Mitchell after the waivers have run, right? So I would wait to make sure Benson is out, because if he misses this week, he's done for the year. He needs to come back and play. They need to activate him. So I would wait as long as you think is fair and add A.D. Mitchell, because the likely scenario that I see is Benson does not come back because he's not going to be activated. There's no reason to do so. So I think that I would add A.D. Mitchell in a 14-man league over Benson, but I would wait as long as possible. The fact that no one's added A.D. Mitchell yet says you probably can wait a little bit longer. Pirine or Carter? I think I go Pirine. I mean, he's been on the field a good amount for the Bengals, more than I like as a Chase Brown manager. Defense, we did this one. We said the Dolphins. The Dolphins, definitely the Dolphins. A.D. Mitchell or Vele? Ooh. I think A.D. Mitchell's a little safer because Vele, as we have him up on the board, he's only had one good week. A.D. Mitchell's had 6 to 7 targets the last. He's had 7 targets last week as well. I'd probably play Vele, honestly. They're close, though. You could play either. Honestly, I could be wrong. I'm not super strongly suggesting one over the other. I would play Vele. I do think A.D. Mitchell had a little bit better week because of the A.J. Terrell matchup for John Mechie. So I'd go Vele. Manungai or Vidal? If Hampton's playing, it's definitely Manungai. If Hampton's not playing, it's definitely Vidal, in my book. Gainwell or Vele? Wow, a lot of Vele questions. I think I'd go with Gainwell. He's been really good in the matchup against the Ravens. They may need to pass a decent amount, so I would go with Gainwell. It's risky. I mean, both players risky, so I go with your gut on that one, but I think I'd play Gainwell. Vele's more fun, but Gainwell's also been pretty awesome too, so I think you can't go wrong with either one. I'd probably play Gainwell, though. Also, should I start Sutton or Mitchell? Might be a crazy question. A.D. Mitchell, Sutton. Sutton hasn't been good. A.D. Mitchell's been pretty good. I probably would go Sutton. Again, I think some people are indexing too much on A.D. Mitchell, 12 targets, but he had the easier matchup. That's not the case this week. So I think Mechie will return as the number one target. The Jets also played a pretty intense game with a lot of passing. I would go with Sutton. But, again, it is not a crazy question at all for sure. Let's see here. The Bears beat Green Bay this week. Yeah, if they beat Green Bay this week, I'm going to have to take a step back and be like, okay. But I do think that the Bears have had a cake schedule. Same with New England. I think New England, it's very easy schedule, honestly. Very, 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 very easy. They've had a lot of matchups against backups. They have won a couple big games. I think the Bills is the main big game they won, but they've had a lot of matchups against backup QBs. They've had a lot of matchups against weak teams. So the Patriots, for me, I'm definitely not sold all the way. Now, Mac Jones has looked good. The deep passing has been great. The efficiency has been good. But I am worried about them in the playoffs when they face some real quality teams back to back to back. But the first round bye certainly will help. Taking one game out of the playbook, being able to play in New England is huge. The Bears, same thing. If they can play some games in Chicago in the winter, I'd say that's a big advantage for them, especially with their run game. Swift-Monangai combo looks pretty strong. So you definitely want Jared Goff going out to the winter. You definitely want some of those, Matt Stafford. I think the Rams would have won the Super Bowl last year if they played in SoFi instead of in Lincoln in Philadelphia. So I think the Bears, they need the win. And if they win, they're a real threat. Full PPR start 2 in the flex, Gainwell, Neal, or Waller. I'd probably sit Waller. He just doesn't have the snaps yet. Pittman or Olave? Tough question. I probably go Olave. Let's double check Olave real quick. Olave. All right. We got 14 minutes left. I'm going to throw my Christmas hat back on for a minute just because I feel like it. He's got a good matchup. This last week, he had 7 targets. I mean, the targets have been there for Olave, but he did not practice this week. Back injury. I need him in the 32-man league for Walter Picks. By the way, guys, if you don't have that, if you don't have the Walter Picks app here, you can download it in the profile. Only here on YouTube, you get a 14-day free trial. It's possible to get one otherwise, but if you use the link down below, the YouTube chat, you get the 14-day free trial. So that's down below. Use code NOBS when you sign up. It's an awesome fantasy app. I help with some of the tools. I'm helping make the tools better. I'm on the projections team. So if you guys have been enjoying this live, show some support. Download the app. It's free. There's also a free trial with code NOBS. You can do the 14-day free trial. Try out the prop evaluator. Try out all the good stuff. Between the two here, I think with the injury, you got to go with Pittman. I think you got to go with Pittman with the injury. Yeah, that's a tough one, though. 2 QB league. I've got Marks, HN, and I don't know what that last one is going to be. Darnold or Tyrod, I would go with Tyrod. Darnold is not good, guys. I know that he's they're winning, but it's not because of him. He's not. I don't think he's any good. I think he's going to hold them back from winning a Super Bowl. I don't think they can win in the playoffs against the Rams. I don't think they can beat the Packers. I don't think they can beat. They could probably beat the Bears. The Bears have been really bad against good defenses. But yeah, I'm worried about that. I don't know if they can beat the Eagles. Again, Eagles offense has been pretty garbage, so maybe they can beat the Eagles. The Vikings just kind of showed how to stop JSN. So Darnold, for me, definitely a sit. I think definitely would go Tyrod. Bo Nix versus the Raiders or Love versus the Bears. They're about even for me. I'd probably go Bo Nix. Let me just double check Josh. That's why Love hasn't been good. Jacobs was scoring all the touchdowns, and then Jacobs got hurt, and then Love's suddenly good. Yeah, he feels close to 100% 6 days ago. So I'm probably going to go with the Bo Nix versus the Raiders because Jacobs is going to stake the touchdowns. Are you not worried about the Rams defense against Brissett? I am a little bit worried, but also let me show you why. I did look at this earlier today, by the way. Jacoby Brissett has played some good defenses, right? Well, he played Seattle, and he scored 20 points. Rams defense is good. For sure. Seattle, though, really good as well. Oh, he played Green Bay. He played the Colts. 2 really good defenses. He scored about 20 points. So I'm not mega worried. I mean, he's kind of proven it, right? This, to me, is proof. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks as a top 12 quarterback. When do we start to believe the guy? He's played against good defenses. So I think Brissett could still be good. Strange or Ferguson? That's a tough one. I'd probably go Ferguson. It's just like the Cowboys will probably score 4 touchdowns, and, I think I like the upside there. Godwin or Pittman? I'd go Pittman. I will note, Andrew, that if you guys did not watch the game with the Buccaneers, Godwin had a pass. It flew through a couple of different players, bounced right off his numbers, though, in the end zone. So if he had that touchdown, is anyone even asking? Everyone's like, yeah, Godwin, he had 18 fantasy points. He's back, baby. But no one's talking about it because he dropped that touchdown pass and only had 3 catches for 78 yards. Still good. But I think I would go with Pittman in this game. My dog is eating something off my floor. It is gone. She swallowed it. It should be fine. Should be fine. My room is not clean, but it doesn't have a lot of dog dangers on the floor. Hopefully not. But it is her dinner time, so we're going to feed her after this. I've got an Australian Shepherd. It's a mini. She's not that mini, though. But she definitely is hungry for dinner, so. Oh, man. I'm going to have a sip of water. Got to take off the hat. It is hot in here. It is freezing in Tennessee, though, guys. Freezing. Let's see. Do you guys have any questions? Is there any teams you guys want to talk about? We got 10 minutes, 9 minutes left on this live. Let's talk some NFL. Guys, if you don't have someone to talk NFL in your life, this is your opportunity. Drop some of your hot takes. Drop some of your Super Bowl predictions. Let's talk a little NFL for the rest of this live. Let's have some fun. See what you guys are thinking. Who's going to the Super Bowl? My prediction right now, I'm going to go with the Rams to the Super Bowl. And in the AFC, who's going to represent in the AFC? It's going to be probably a surprise team. I think the Broncos have a shot. The Patriots definitely have a shot. I think the Bills have a shot. The Bengals could make the playoffs. They could make some noise, but I don't think they've got the defense for it. Ravens, if they turn it around, have a shot. I'm going to say the Chiefs if they make it. Maybe let's have some fun and say Rams-Texans in the Super Bowl. That would be pretty cool. Colts might be frauds. Yeah, I think the Colts are a little bit frauds. Let me show you something. I agree with you on that. Let me show you something. What's his name? Jonathan. Check this out. Look at the easy matchups they faced early in the season. They did play Denver and the Rams, but Tennessee, Las Vegas, Arizona, the Chargers, Tennessee again, the Steelers, 7 points, KC, 8 points. Houston, he did have 3 receptions for 36 yards, certainly helped, but overall, 21 carries, 5 targets. He had a lot of volume, yards per carry. What would he have as in yards per carry? 4, pretty bad against the good defense. So I'm worried about the Colts because look at the schedule. They play Houston again, week 18. Yeah, the Colts might be frauds. I am worried about them after they face some tough defenses like Seattle. They face Jacksonville, who's been tough against the run as well. Can Daniel Jones really dominate when they don't have such an easy run game where they have to just bring everybody up? I don't think so. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, but I do think they could be frauds. Let's see. Andrew says, I didn't hear, but I've got Herbert and Danny Dimes. I'm Colts heavy with Pittman and Warren. Yeah, I just roll with Danny Dimes. I like the matchup against the Jaguars this week. Like I said, the Jaguars are good against the run. They're not great against the pass. So we'll see if Daniel Jones can make it happen. I think he's decently safe. I do like Pittman. I do like Warren as well. Great matchup for Warren this week. So I like the pass catchers, but I do think with Jonathan Taylor, specifically, when they face good teams, he hasn't done as well, so that's something to watch out for in the playoffs for the Colts. If they do make it there, I mean, there's a real chance that they could miss it as well. It's not likely, but I do think with the tough matchups, there's a chance that they lose some games. But yeah, let me know, guys. We got a couple more minutes here. If you got some questions, some NFL takes, who do you guys think's winning the Super Bowl? Who do you think is a fraud team? We talked a little bit about the Patriots and the Bears. I'm worried about. Drake London or Watson? I mean, I would play London if he plays, for sure. Is Trey Benson worth a playoff stash? Yvonne, if he does not come back this week, he cannot come back. So I would say probably not. It's not looking good. Let's just double check him. We do have the news in the Walter Picks app. Let me double check that. I think we've got him projected out for the rest of the season. He did not practice, and check this out. Walter Picks has it like this. No one else probably. Oh, we do have him back for week 15, so we're going to have to see if they activate him. If they don't activate him, though, I mean, he could be good if he comes back, but the news I heard is that he has to come back. I'm pretty sure he has to come back and play. So we'll have to see here. Is Reed a stash? Mike Evans worth a stash? Mike Evans for sure. Definitely Mike Evans. Definitely. Reed is fine if you can't get Evans, but it sounds like you can, so I'd definitely prefer Mike Evans. Yeah, for sure. And Baker, by the way, could see a nice boost if he gets Evans and Godwin and Ibuka on the field at the same time. Ibuka could also be pretty good as well. We'll have to wait and see how that goes as well. If you guys didn't know, we do have the prop evaluator. I'll show you that real quick. Well, I don't know if I can on YouTube, but I won't risk it before I know for sure. But we've got a Discord in the Walter Picks app. We've got the prop evaluator. We've got, oh, no, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. There we go. We're back in the Walter Picks app. All right. If you guys got any more questions, NFL takes for me, I think, man, who's going to win the AFC? That for me is a big question. I think the Patriots have a shot, especially the number 1 seed helps. Home field advantage helps. I don't know if anybody's really in the AFC that good. Someone's going to have to turn it up. I just don't trust their schedule. It's been so easy. The Patriots has been so easy. They're definitely a team that I could see, like, everyone's like, oh, they're back. They're going to dominate for years, and then they're just not that good next year. The same thing happened to the Commanders, actually. They had a really nice schedule, I believe, last year, and then they just fell off this year in a much harder schedule. So that's what I'm worried about for the Patriots, especially if the Jets can get it together a little bit. The Dolphins, if they can get it together a little bit. Their division has been a disaster. The Bills actually look a little bit weaker this year as well. That's definitely helping the Pats out. And they're a good team. I like what they've been doing, so I don't want to discredit them. You got to play the teams that are on your schedule, but I just don't think they've proven to me yet that they're the team that is Super Bowl ready quite yet. But we will wait and see that. All right, guys, if you guys do not have any more questions, I'll stay on for another minute here. If you got any questions, fantasy football, playoffs, defensive stashes, let me know. We will answer that. I like the Saints, by the way, Cowboys. I like the Chiefs for playoff stashes. I think the Dolphins play good rest of the season. They could possibly get a wild card spot. Let's check their schedule. Real quick. Yeah, they definitely could. I'm not going to take that away from them. Let's check their... Oh, man. Andrew asked a question. Andrew, I do not drink, my man. But I am a... I know you're supposed to hold it in your non-dominant hand. But I probably would hold it in my right hand, to be honest. Because I don't care. But I do think that's a fine question there. But the Dolphins, they play the Jets, the Steelers, the Bengals. They could win out. Yeah, I think the Dolphins actually do have a shot. Yeah, I agree with you. What do you think of UNM getting snubbed from this college football playoff? UNM, is that Michigan? They don't deserve to be in. I certainly don't think so. I mean, they just got dismantled by Ohio State. I think that I live in Nashville. I'm a little bit mad that Vanderbilt did not get a shot. I think they deserve it over Miami, personally. So, yeah, Miami, are they 13th? I think Vandy deserved it over Miami, to be honest with you. They played I think a tougher schedule, and they just crushed Tennessee in a rivalry game, and they gave Notre Dame an update. So Tomlin be to blame in Pitt, Andrew. But yeah, I'd like to see Vanderbilt in the college football playoff, to be honest with you. I think they've done a great job this year. Played a tough schedule too, won some huge games. Tomlin, yeah. Honestly, I think that the two people to blame in Pittsburgh is, I think Tomlin's a great coach. I just think the overall team direction is bad. For me, I think that if you're not a Super Bowl team, I'm okay with going 2-15. Honestly, I am. Like, this is painful football to watch, guys. It's just painful. So I think that Tomlin and the organization should have not gone and gotten Rodgers and should have just played Will Howard this year. Play a rookie, maybe draft. I mean, they could have drafted Shedeur Sanders. I wasn't super supportive of that. I would have been okay with it, to be honest. But, like, draft some rookie QBs. I know they drafted, they tried to save it with Kenny Pickett. Like, but I just think go lose a bunch of games, get a super high draft pick, and then reset. I think that's what it takes for the Steelers to turn around the organization. And it just seems like they're trying to hold on to, like, any last ditch. And it's like, guys, like, 3-year plan. Let's do a 3-year plan. They've been running this 1-year plan after 1-year plan after 1-year plan. And it just doesn't work. It just does not work to run a 1-year plan on they're buying, I've got an '08 Camry. They're buying an '08 Camry, a quarterback that used to be amazing. My car's still, it's not bad. I'm not going to disparage my '08 Camry. But they're running somebody that's like 40 into the ground in Pittsburgh. I just don't like it. So, yeah, I think Tomlin it's probably time to switch up the coaches. I think time to switch up the direction. And I think it's time to lose for a season and or give a rookie a shot. And if they can still win with a rookie, that's awesome. But I think it's time to kind of reset the organization a little bit. So that's my opinion. Pats did it best. Yeah, I mean, they tried a lot of stuff like with Mac Jones. That looked like it was going to go well. You know, Bailey Zappi. It was like a little bit of a disaster, but exactly. They lost. They changed the coach. They got a great coach. I mean, again, I'm in Tennessee. I'm in Nashville. Mike Vrabel, great coach, coach of the year. I like the way they handled it. And Mac, what's his name, has been Drake May. I don't know why I lost it there. Grayson, I appreciate the super chat, man. Loveland droppable versus Strange and likely. My worry is if no one that you're going to play against in playoffs is going to pick Loveland up, that's something we have to watch out for at this time of year. If someone is going to pick Loveland up to better their playoff roster, I'm probably not going to drop them, but Strange and likely could definitely be better options. I do like likely a lot. They've been seeing some great target share. I like Strange a lot as well. I probably, if you asked me Loveland or Strange, I'd play Strange. Loveland or likely, I'd probably play likely. He almost had a touchdown last week, and you wouldn't even be asking this question. So I appreciate you dropping in with the super chat, and I probably would go with Strange or likely. I think dealer's choice on that one. I like Strange a little bit better as a little more consistency in the offense. But I think that's a good move. Monungai or Pollard, Breezy, I would go with Monungai. Yeah, Pollard is definitely falling off here. So I appreciate you guys coming out. I like talking some NFL with you guys as well. That was a lot of fun. Hope you guys have a great night. Happy holiday season. I've got my North Pole hat here. So I'm pretty excited for the holidays coming up. So hope you have a great time, and make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be back here doing lives. Avery's got tomorrow night. We got Sam on Sunday. I may join that live as well. Samps will be there. So check it out. Hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Woo!